These guys want to start a business, but they don't have any money and they're lacking in the knowledge to do it. So today we're going to step through a 5-point plan that they can use to start their business, and you can use it too. So the 5 things we're going to learn today: getting started. Second is funding. Third is marketing. Number 4, we're going to talk about making the idea real. And then finally, we're going to talk about team. So let's get started. So tell people in 60 seconds what your idea is.
We want to create delicious sweet treats called Sweet Life, and it's going to be protein sweets.
We're going to blend indulgence with enjoyment and create the ultimate sweet treat.
Okay, so when getting started, what I would suggest people do is a mind map. So in the middle, you have your idea, right? So Sweet Life. By the way, have you trademarked this?
No, we
that's
had
one
some
of our
questions about that,
questions.
yeah.
So straight away, I haven't even started the mind map. We highlight one area we know we've got an action.
Yeah.
We've got an action plan now, right? Number 1, trademark.
Okay.
Because if you don't own this name,
Yeah.
if you don't control that name, you're going to build a business on it and you could get into trouble because
Yeah.
someone else might have it. Trademarking will normally be about £300 per category.
Okay.
And so as a gift, I'll pay for that for both of you
Thank
today,
you so
right?
much.
Just to get things
Thank
going.
you.
Thank
But it's an
you.
important thing to have that baseline
Yeah.
done.
Okay.
Now, within a mind map, the thing to quickly write down is what the brand stands for. So you mentioned it earlier: enjoy, indulge, protein.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A general vibe.
Yeah.
And then we think about like where the business is going to go. So you're saying at the moment, let's say it's going to be protein bars. Would that be fair to say?
Protein sweets.
Protein
Yeah.
sweets. Okay, protein sweets. That's the product, okay? So now, product-wise, you start thinking about, well, where might it be distributed? So let's say supermarkets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we might say TikTok shop.
Yeah.
Where else do you think it might be distributed?
We thought like a gym
Yeah.
vending machines.
Gym, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, gym. Where else?
We also thought like health and fitness events in terms of being like a sponsor.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fitness events.
Yeah.
Anywhere else?
We had some specific supermarkets in mind.
Okay.
But they're the main category.
By the way, so
Yeah.
supermarket, great. You're now identifying another part of this mind map, which is because brand has to relate to where you distribute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be distributing in a X brand that isn't on. So I'm not going to say one in case I insult someone, but let's say Asda as an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
It might not be right brand alignment
Yes.
for you,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So give it a supermarket that you think is in line.
Whole
Whole
Foods.
Foods.
Perfect. I knew you were going to say that. Okay. I also think Selfridges as a launch, for example,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
you kind of think Selfridges. By the way, it's much easier brand-wise to start high end and come down.
Yeah.
Then be a low brand product and go up. Then you want to start thinking about, let's say, the marketing. Okay? Which we're going to talk about this later on in much more depth. But in the mind map, it's quite good to think about the marketing side. The simplest 2 methods of marketing are influencer-led marketing. So let's say Simon Squibb launches Help Bank, and I'm promoting it because it's my business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what Steve Jobs used to do is he'd get 3,000 news reporters and tech people in a room, and he'd launch the new product. So
Yeah.
he'd have him as a
Yeah.
personality,
Yeah.
then present to a niche group of people, tech
Okay.
Yeah.
magazine writers,
Yeah.
and then those 3,000 people would go away and write articles, and it become very famous
Yeah.
overnight,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, but you've got individual marketing.
Yeah.
Now with individual marketing, you've got the personal brand, which could be, for example, behind the scenes. So you've got the
Yeah.
ability to share, on your personal channels. Today we did this, and Selfishly said no, but we're
Yeah.
not going to give
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like that. So that's
Yeah.
a personal
Okay.
brand, and then they know who's behind the product. Within the individual marketing space, you also want to think, I think, about like how brands like Sony do it. Now, Sony don't have someone who founded the company that you can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you think of Sony, I don't really think of anybody in particular.
Yeah, same.
So what they do is similar to Nike. So
Okay.
they have, I'm going to write down the Nike strategy, it's probably an easy one to remember.
Okay.
So what Nike do is they go and get the best athletes in the world, and then they sponsor them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't have anybody in the organisation that's a personal brand.
Yeah, okay.
They find the best in the market and they sponsor them.
Yeah.
You can also do this, but you basically will then identify, let's say, 10 people that
Yeah.
you think, hey, if they hold our product and really love it,
Yeah.
then that will be brilliant endorsement. I'm going to say Grace Beverley, for example. I don't
really
know.
like her.
So,
Yeah.
people that I can sense, and I'm sure you
Yes.
can make a nice list of people that are just awesome,
Yeah.
wholesome, authentic,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I see eating your product.
Yes.
So we can make a list on this
Yeah.
mind map. Now, once you have this list, we're going to talk a little bit about sales for a second. Everybody can sell. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's not for the special few.
Yeah.
All you need to sell is the story.
Yeah.
Okay, and I kind of feel like you have it.
Okay.
The one thing in your story I'm going to talk about in a minute is you need to have your why. You know why you're doing this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we'll cover that in a minute, but just before we do.
Okay.
So in sales, now we've identified that there's a list of people we want. You have to add them on here as influencers. We now have at number 2 action list. Sell to influencers. We all know what I mean, right? So now we know influencers.
Yeah.
And we have a list to sell to. Of course, supermarkets. When we list here supermarkets we have to sell to, remember there will be things like accelerators that you can get into. So these are programs that these supermarkets run to try and find brands like yours.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, and then there's trade events, right? So trade events. So now we're going to put on here, you know, what trade events are there
Yeah.
that you can go to, research.
Okay.
So how do we find those?
All Google, easy.
Okay.
Once you put accelerator in, supermarket, they'll come up.
Okay.
Trade events, food events, supermarkets go to, they'll all come up. But you need to do some research on this, and now we're starting to see the marketing side, the actual distribution side, the sales side. Cool. So now we have our mind map. You're ready to get started. So now we're going to move to the next bit, which is funding. Now I could do a whole video just on funding.
Okay.
I could spend a day just talking on funding. But I'm going to give you the juice of it.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you the different ways that we can raise funding for your business.
Yeah.
And the best way to raise money. The first thing I'm going to say to you is try not to need money. Now, in your particular idea, there is a product-based element to it. So that means, I need money to make the product.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk you through how to do this without money, but I'm also going to teach you how to get money if you really need
Yeah.
Okay.
it. And we are going to need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are going to need it.
Yeah.
But there's many different ways to get it. Here's a quick tip. This is the biggest and most important thing about fundraising I ever learned. If you want to raise money, don't ask for money. Ask for help. If you ask for money, you'll get help.
Okay.
If you ask for help, you'll get money.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
The other good thing about asking for help and not money is not only the psychology of it, but also you can flush out these investors because there are a lot of bad players.
Okay.
So there will be people that will want to steal your business.
Yeah.
There are VC firms, that's their whole model.
Okay.
They invest in you, they say,
Yeah.
and then slowly they try to replace you and take over the brand
Yeah.
or take over the business.
Okay.
And then asset strip.
Okay.
Okay. Now that's, of course, I'm being general, there's a lot of really good investors
Yeah.
out there too. And you're going to find out if they